to the Ask Arlene show, the show where you have an opportunity to ask us questions, and we will do shows in accordance with the questions that you ask. I'm so excited today to join you again every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. because we have an opportunity to share tips, tools, and techniques to help you move forward, be empowered, be inspired, and achieve your dreams, goals, and visions. So, I'm a life coach and a life coach specializing in momentum and peak performance. So I help you. Let's say you're trying to start that business and you know exactly what you need to do to start it, but you just haven't done it yet. You're in the right place today. Or let's say you already have a business, but you're looking to 10x that business, take it to the next level, and you just can't seem to get started, to move forward. Or perhaps it's not business at all. You want to write a book, or you want to lose that extra 10 pounds, and you know exactly what you're supposed to do. Everybody knows eat less carbs, do a little bit more exercise, but you just haven't seemed to do it. Well, you're in the right place today because I have a special guest with me today, and his name is none other than Walter Aguilar. He is an energy coach. He's one of my coaches that helps me to move forward, helps me to be more inspired. And so we're just so excited that he's going to be spending the next few minutes with us, this half hour with us, to share with us how we can do better. And so one of the things I want to share with you about him before we bring him on is to just let you know that not only is Walter an energy coach, which helps us to perform better and helps us to get things done, but he has actually had a successful marriage of over 28 years, guys. So sometimes people are coaches and they're telling you how you can be successful and how you can win, but they haven't necessarily won or been successful. So this gentleman is someone who really knows how to not just win friends and influence people, but really knows how to stay the course and accomplish the goal at hand and never give up. And so today, hopefully, we are going to learn and shift and change and be who we're truly called to be as a result of the time that we spend with this most amazing gentleman, Mr. Walter Aguilar. Hello, Walter.
Hi, Arlene. Thank you for that incredible, kind words. I really love the way you introduced me, and thank you for that.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, it's all true. And we haven't told half of the story yet, but I know you're going to have an opportunity to unfold some of the content with us today. You have a special program that's coming up as well. You want to share a little bit about your background and tell us about the program that you have coming up?
Yeah, I think my background, what I have is that I've been a part of the human race for the last 54 years. And where is actually where my experience comes from is I am a performance transition leadership coach. And this program that I've developed is really, it's called Finding a Reason for Being. Because if you notice a lot of the really personal development gurus, they all talk, like Napoleon Hill talks about having a definite purpose. Simon Sinek talks about having your why. They're always saying about you got to have your reason of why you do what you do. And so what I'm actually going to be doing is sharing a course over 6 weeks where I'm going to be sharing what worked for me to find my reason for being. And I'm really excited about that. And it starts on October the 17th, on Saturday, October the 17th. And I'm looking to go on a journey with people that are seeking that reason for being, that compass, that reason why they get up every morning.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Walter, you have actually helped people with peak performance coaching. You've done the physical fitness aspects yourself, but you also help other people to do it. One of the challenges that I know a lot of people have, and myself included, is this challenge of overcoming procrastination. So in my story, I've shared on the show that my mom passed away and I was very distressed. I was winning. I was doing great things, running around the country, doing speeches and talks. But after my mom passed away, I was really just stuck. And I felt so challenged, even in terms of just getting up and just doing the daily essentials of life. I just felt like one of my major motivational factors was my mom. I did a lot of the accomplishments or made a lot of these accomplishments because I felt like I wanted her to be proud because she had done so much for me. Once she was gone, I was just in a state of really not knowing what to do. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I was procrastinating and not moving forward. I knew what I didn't want to do, which was the political career that I had. Although many people thought working for the DNC was flashy, it was exciting. But for me at that time, once my mom passed, I really didn't want to win friends and influence people. I really didn't want to go into rooms and look over my shoulder trying to catch the next person. And I wasn't sure what to do. So I know that part of what you do is help people in terms of those secrets, in terms of finding their purpose, but also how do we move forward in that purpose, since many of us have suffered with procrastination and not moving forward in the way that we should.
Well, I think first of all, Arlene, my condolences for your mom. I know losing a significant parental figure is always a great loss. And something that you said was really interesting. You said that a lot of the things that were motivating you was to make her feel proud of you. And so what actually happened, and from just it's obviously a lot deeper than this for you, but what happened is that motivation that you had, that inspiration that you had, that was driving you, all of a sudden wasn't there anymore. And it's kind of like at that point, when we talk about our reason for being, is that it's not something that we seek, something we always have. And at that point, that was your motivation. And once you lost that, it's kind of like being on a ship and losing your compass. You went drifting. And
Absolutely.
when you go drifting, you're looking for the next shiny thing that's going to kind of get you excited again and what have you. So you may have found yourself looking at different careers. You may have found going through different relationships. You were looking for something because you felt that something was missing. And so
Yes.
that's very common, and it's not because the thing is that when we lose those things that are really dear to us, we drop in our energy because we believe as an IPEC coach that there's 7 levels of energy. These 7 levels of energy are 7 levels of consciousness, awareness, engagement, and confidence. So what happens is that when we lose something that we value or we feel like we have to protect ourselves, we drop into these lower levels of energy, which are contracting energies. And what they do is they actually affect our level of engagement in life. So what's going to happen is that when we are grieving, when we're sad, when we're worried, we go into self-protection mode. That's when we shut down emotions. That's when we're not inspired to or motivated to go take the action that we need to take in order to move forward.
Yeah.
So what happens at that point is we're at a very low level of awareness that we're even there. We know it doesn't feel good, but we haven't yet learned how to differentiate how we feel with who we are, right? And that's where understanding consciousness, awareness, engagement, that's where that could really help you out and really help you to realize that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we're supposed to have emotions. We're just not supposed to stay there. So when somebody significant in your life passes, it's totally normal to grieve. It's just not healthy to stay there because at some point you got to get back in with life again, right? And so, and grieving isn't a line you cross over. It's not all of, at the core of grieving, it's just an acceptance. And you'll find that even now, it's been a long time since your mom's passed. Even if you go by some that reminds you of her, all those feelings of her will come back, and you might go into have a little bit of grieving moments. So it's something that it changes you when you have something like that. But what's really important is really being able to have something that will actually motivate you as much as you wanted to make your mom proud. Find something else that can be that inspiration for you, that reason for getting up every morning and wanting to go out and change the world. And that, I think, is the important part of it, right? So the fact that you drifted, we all drift. The fact that you've lost something that's significant, that's all there. It's just learning how to go on and discover what your reason for being is, because it's not out there. It's not in a relationship. It's not in another job. It's already within you. You already have it. It's just a matter of uncovering. It's like peeling the onions and getting to that thing that you already know.
It's a little bit hard for me to hear you, but I hope that our listeners are able to hear you. Walter, one of the things that I know energy coaches tend to share is that you should do the things, as you said, that your inside tells you to do, or your initiative or your intuition tells you to do. And so you correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if they're saying that if it's something that feels good, you should work with it, you should move with it. Whereas if it's something that doesn't feel good for you, then you probably shouldn't. And one of the challenges that I've had with that concept is there are many things that feel good. For example, eating a pint of ice cream, you may feel really great while you're eating it, but it's not necessarily something you should do, or it's not necessarily something that's going to give you a lot of energy. Or are you saying, yeah, maybe you should do that because you feel good while you're eating it?
Well, I think that it all comes down to is not what feels good; it's what brings you joy.
Okay.
And I think that that's
What
where a
brings you
lot of,
joy?
yeah, because what happens is that joy and feeling good they're a little bit different. Because if we realize that when people are in flow states, whether it's athletes, executives, or even yourself, when you have those days where everything just goes the way it should, and you just intuitively know who to
Yes.
call, and that person, hey, I was just waiting for your call, and everything just flows.
Yes.
There's a joy that comes with that. And that joy is a sense of peace. It's a sense of that knowingness that I'm in my power right now. And anything I do right now is going to happen. And I think that that's really what we're talking about, because when you start talking about just feeling good, there's a lot of even shadow side behavior that may feel good, but really at the very core of it, we're just numbing some emotions that we don't want to feel. So just because something feels good doesn't mean that it's beneficial for you. It's like there's an old proverb in the Bible that says that everything is permissible, but not everything's beneficial. So learning to know what brings you joy and what is truly beneficial for you and those around you is what's really important.
Okay. It's very hard to hear you, so I'm not really sure what you said, but I'm sure our listeners hopefully can hear what you said.
No worries.
Um, Moving on, I know that one of the key things you do, or key things that you talk about in your programs, because I've listened to you time and time again, is in this department of leadership, and you always to move to the next level. So if you're wanting to accomplish something. Let's say your dream is to have opened up a salon for yourself, and now you're merely working in a salon. The next level would be to go out there and purchase this salon and just level up, as they say. But you just haven't seemed to do it. Would you say that, as many coaches do, which is to position yourself and just begin doing it, even though you may not know where the dollars and cents are coming from, you may not know exactly where the facility is, but you begin moving forward and put down whatever it is that you have at this time to put yourself in that position versus waiting until you're ready? So do you say that, or would you say it would bring you more joy to stay where you are and just work toward accomplishing the goal at hand and not be stressed? Because if you step out in just initiative right now, you're probably going to be in more of a state of stress than you would if you didn't do anything.
I think first of all, we have to understand that every person's journey is unique. It's unique to them. And that when you are looking to make a move, it's important for you to understand where you're at in your life, and how committed are you to stepping out of your comfort zone. Because when you're inspired to do something, it's going to require you to get out of your comfort zone. And when we talk about the comfort zone, we gravitate to that because, as a lot of the neuroscientists says, is we gravitate to the familiar and predictable. That's why a lot of us stay in our comfort zone. To go and do something different requires you to do something different and have to deal with different feelings that you may not have on a regular basis. Right. So I think that you first of all have to take inventory of where you are in your own life and your own personal development. And if you have to stay where you are and do more work on yourself to get yourself ready to step out of your comfort zone, then that's the right answer. If one of the things that some people have said is sometimes the best time to do something is when you don't think you're 100% ready. And the reason for that is because that's going to give you the motivation to do the action that's going to be necessary. So there's a couple of different trains of thoughts, right? But the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to wait till everything's perfect, because there is no side. Perfect is an ideal that doesn't happen, right? So I think most important is, are you willing to step out of your comfort zone and deal with all the challenges and the adversity that comes with living an inspired life? Because when you get inspired life, you'll have a new thought. You won't know the how, but you know that's the direction you want to go. And as you walk in that direction, because of your energy elevating and vibrating at a higher rate of higher energy, you're going to attract all the people and the circumstances to you, because you don't attract what you want, you attract who you're being. That's why it's important to take care of the inside first, if you can, and then take the action.
Okay. So I think the portion that I did hear was that once you begin to move, the people will come to you. The items that you need in order to manifest this particular thing will come to you.
Yes.
And you will have more energy to move in that direction as you begin moving. Like the momentum that we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's momentum.
And you'll also, as you start moving, you'll also begin to understand if you like the process at all. Bless
Sorry,
you.
excuse me.
So once you start moving, if you feel that there's no flow to it, and you're not really enjoying it, you'll know right away that maybe that's not a direction you want to go to. But that again goes back to knowing yourself. Once you know yourself,
So
you'll
what
be able to go there.
People, yes. What are some things that people can do or that we can do in order to position ourselves so that we will have that inspired thought and have that inspired movement?
I think the first step is to really start thinking about what it is that you really enjoy doing. What is something that you could see yourself doing 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now? Think about who it is that you'd like to impact. Who is it that you really would like to have an impact in, and what do they want and need? Are you contributing to the common good? Is this something that is going to bring you joy at the heart level? Because anything that's not done in love from the heart comes from fear, and fear is full of obligations. And what will happen is that everything that you'll do from fear you'll feel like it's an obligation, and that's a lower energy level, and that in the end will not be sustainable. So it's got to come from the heart.
Okay, I love what you said about it being a heart thing and not a feeling of fear and obligation. Many of the people that have come on the show that I have selected are people who I feel truly coach from the heart and truly reach out and connect with people from the heart. And one of the things that we've discussed is this concept of sales, because many of the people who are listening to our show, including myself, are business owners. And we have said and learned that one of the key things that we need in order to do excellent sales is to have that heart posture, the person that we're selling to.
I think what's really important is to understand, if you're going to be in sales, is to understand your tribe, your people that you're going to sell whatever it is you're selling to, right? That's why your intention is always seek to understand, like Stephen Covey says, then be understood. Because once you connect, then people believe and trust you. then at that point, if you've got a solution for them, it's no longer going to be you trying to sell them. It's really just a value exchange, because sales always is just a value exchange, right? My goal as a coach is that whenever anybody
So the
hires me,
reason, one of the reasons why I'm bringing up sales is that many of our listeners don't know that you were the top salesperson for very many years at the company that you worked with, correct? So you're very insightful as far as this concept, not just in terms of the book knowledge, but even in terms of your practical knowledge. And so for many of us who are listening that want to do better in terms of that sales area, perhaps you can tell us what we can do to attract more clients.
I think a big shift when I was selling, and I was actually selling a lot of raw land for a private landowner before I became a coach. And a big shift for me was when I started focusing less on what I needed to do and who I needed to be for my clients. Because it's it's who I needed to be. I needed to be a great listener. I needed to be a great communicator. I needed to be, right? Instead of figuring out what I needed to do. Because sales, there's a lot of techniques you can use in sales, and those are okay. But the new consumer and whatever you is a lot more savvy. They know all the techniques. They're looking for people that really listen to them, really care about them. And by focusing on who you need to be and focus on being there with your client, your actions, it'll just be seamless closing of the sales. Because when people trust you, then they believe you. And when they believe you, if you're solving a problem for them and they trust and believe you, then magic happens. That's where the value exchange happens. But if you're just focusing on doing techniques that you were taught or reading scripts or doing that, sometimes even being too smooth, people don't trust salespeople that are too smooth because they think they might be up to something. If our competitive advantage, any sales professional, your competitive advantage is you. So the more you could bring your personality and who you are into that and connect with those people that you're endeavoring to close, you're going to find that it's going to become so much more effortless. The other way, you're going to be forcing it, and you're going to know you're going to be forcing it, right? So that's my advice that I would give.
Okay. So now in this realm of internet sales and social media, where many of us are now online, it's not so much selling sneakers in a shoe store or direct contact where you're selling land to a person one-on-one. But how have you been able to attract customers to you on the internet when you're not actually able to sit in front of people, but you're still attracting them to your website or you're attracting them to your mastermind group? What are some things that you've done in order to do this? And I know we're far spent in terms of time, but I'd love to hear some insight as to how you've been able to accomplish that.
I think that with COVID and the new economy, a lot of people are going to the internet for knowledge. And so there's a lot of people that are now in the business of selling knowledge. However, what people are looking for is they're looking for authenticity. So what they're doing is they're looking for people that are real and that have real value to provide for them. So one of the things that I would say is that what I do is I really focus on being me, because then I attract people like me to myself, right? Energy attracts like energy.
Yes.
And then when I craft things out, like even on my website, there's a lot of video on my website because I want people to actually see me talking and see me messing up on a word or maybe it's a little link. Like it's just real. It's just me being myself, because I think that what people are looking for is they want to be able to relate to somebody out there that understands them and that knows what their problem is. And that's why, for me, having a really solid ikigai, reason for being, I know who I'm doing I know what I do. I know who I'm doing it for. I know what they want and need. I know what I do and how I do it. And I also know what effect I have on people because of what I do.
Okay, but how are you getting them to come? So once they come, they get to see your video, they get to feel your heart, they get to see the posture that you have and the insight that you're able to share with them. But how are you bringing them to the site? How are they knowing that you even exist or that your site exists so that they would sign on
Um,
and get that insight?
well,
What
first
are
of
some of
all,
the tools that you're using?
I've been paying it forward for a lot of years now. If anybody's seen me on social media, I create memes with different sayings, and then I give a lot of free coaching on the site. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll get a lot of free coaching. I do masterminds that are no they're free. I don't charge anybody anything. So I put a lot of stuff out there. I've done over 70 articles on LinkedIn. I've run articles for the coachesite.com, all hockey coaches all over the world. I give a lot because I believe that whatever you give, you get in return. I get an incredible amount of referrals as well because people recommend people to me. And a lot of it really comes down to is that I'm not stingy with myself and who I am. I'm very open. I'm very accessible. And when I do my sites, I always think about my websites as would this keep my interest here? I have blogs on my website where I give free stuff. There's a free books on I think it's even the 5 steps of overcoming stress. I give free books out, ebooks. I just pay it. I go out there and I pay it forward, and then people can see that where my heart is in this. And when somebody makes a decision to actually hire me on a one-to-one or take one of my courses, my goal is to give them 4 times as value for whatever they put out, and that has worked really well for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it's a testament to telling us what we need to do as business owners on our project, on our initiative, whatever it is that we're working on. We need to be clear, we need to be concise, we need to have a mission statement, and that way we can be able to move forward in a more powerful way. And so I'd like to thank you for joining us today and spending time with us. At the close of the show, you'll be able to find content regarding how to get in contact with Mr. Walter Aguilar. I invite you to join our mastermind group where you can be able to talk with us, share with us your particular project, business, or endeavor at bit.ly/AskArlene. We also invite you to go to our website and share information with us there so that we can know who you are and help you to go to that next level. And our website is AskArleneShow.com. And we also invite you after the show to sign on and continue the conversation offline. And the contact information there is Ask Arlene Talk Show Mastermind Networking Group at Instagram, and also to go and find the Ask Arlene Show on Facebook. And so without further ado, once again, I want to say thank you, all of you, our listeners. We could not do this show without you. So thank you for spending the time with us today. Have a lovely evening. Bye.